Part one of the divorced Sportster build. So I picked this one up. It's a good runner. I'll put in a video of it. You're playing with it a little bit. Motor's good. Transmission also is probably completely fine. I haven't tried to ride it because of this, but everything points to it's good. Somebody puts a decent amount of money into this thing. Like you can see this, you know, aftermarket hydraulic clutch actuator. Every single Harley has these crappy pegs on it. I hate them, but whatever. This is an old factory one that's like completely destroyed, but it doesn't matter. Rest of it all looks to be in decent shape. The wiring is a complete disaster, but that's nothing really abnormal for old Ironhead Harleys. So none of that is a surprise. So I'm gonna start going through, and wow, that's what that is. Nice. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna start going through all of this and just disassembling it. You guys can watch along with this. I'm gonna tear the primary apart first, pull the whole transmission out because I don't need it, and then I'm gonna get ready so I can cut right through here. So I'm gonna cut behind the motor here. You can kind of see in there where it goes down into that. This is a 77, so just need to move some of this stuff out of the way. Just some better setup for everything, but the oil return line on these, vice like a 76, is a hose that goes down to the oil pump under here. So I don't have to worry about the oil return line going through the block. So I can just chop all that off and then figure out how I'm gonna use the motor mounts from the Sportster kit that they produce. I'll add their website in as a link. And I'm gonna take this motor that's right here after I cut the transmission off, and we're gonna shove it in this frame. So just a hard-tailed shovelhead frame. So I'm gonna make use the kit, install rear mounts, and then a adapter. Basically, it's gonna bolt in between the stock front mounts here and the shovelhead mount. And that's really about it. So we're gonna get started today, start pulling all this apart. I'll just do it all as like a time lapse. You guys can watch along, and I'll pull all this down. I'm gonna start selling off a whole bunch of this stuff because I don't want to, like, this transmission seems fine, so I'm gonna sell it. Hydraulic thing here is already pretty much spoken for. Somebody wants this. And then I like this tank. This is an old King Sportster tank, and it's got the old school cool Harley emblems on it. So yeah, I think this is going on to probably this bike, but I might throw it on something else. Who knows? But either way, pretty cool freaking tank. And yeah, that's about it. Let's start tearing it down. I haven't tried this exact way yet, but we're gonna see what happens. I think it'll work. So you wanna have something on this because there's a big spring under here. So we'll see what it does. As long as it doesn't shoot off completely, I think we'll be all right. Which it shouldn't. Oh, there goes one nut. There goes the other nut. One is down inside of there, but that's okay. Yeah, this is loosened up enough now. That's exactly what you wanted to have happen. Perfect. All right. Now that's out the way. And take the rest of it apart. Bringing you guys back at this point. I've already been pretty busy. I don't really remember exactly how far I recorded with everything else, but here's where we're at right now. So I'm gonna have to make a top motor mount to go to a shovelhead frame. That's fine. I'll take this off. and the bottom motor mounts. Then we can pull this thing out. So now you can really get an idea of what I'm gonna do to this bike. So if you look down in here, the transmission I pulled out, which is for sale, as well as all the other stuff that's in here, kicker, everything else. If you just imaginary, just draw a line from here straight down. You can even look inside of here where that back bolt and everything else, the back side of this case, so that's all the motor. So I'm gonna cut through here and then through there. I'm gonna take all of this off. Motor's out of the frame, transmission's already pulled out. You guys watched me do that earlier. Obviously the frame is over here nice and bare, so I'll be doing, I don't even know if I'm gonna do anything with that. I'll probably just tear it down the rest of the way, strip the frame out, and then set it off to the side. But now we gotta deal with this. So Sawzall is ready. I'm gonna start cutting. I'm gonna cut this portion first, away from there. I'm gonna do some like big hunks. I'm gonna stay just inside of this transmission portion to make sure that I know I'm not cutting up anything I don't want to initially. And then I'll cut it all back and actually fit it how I want to after the fact. Which gives me some pretty good things. Like I know there's a bolt here, so I wanna stay on this side of that bolt. We're gonna finish this video up here. I've got the motor pretty much split. Transmission's taken off. You guys watched all that. Started shaving some more down on this, kind of off camera. I've got to figure out where the motor mounts I'm gonna get from Sportsters should hook to this bolt. I got to figure out how much more of this I got to take off. And then I'm gonna shave the rest of this down. I did some more like good rough cutting to get the majority of it off, but I need to come in here with a flap wheel or basically a cut-off wheel, cut some little pie cuts in here, break some of this off, and get it down back how I want. So I'm gonna do that over the next couple days. Sportster kit should be here soon, and then I'll start getting this thing mocked up in the frame. So speaking of the frame, I've got it up on the lift over here. So I reused the tank. I think I might use the seat. We'll see. I'm gonna play around with it some, but I wanted to get it up onto my jig to make sure everything on this one was straight. I am gonna use the windowed neck. Don't worry, it's not gonna be this blue color. I just wanted to spray some spray paint on here to see how it's gonna look. I think it turned out okay. So I'm eventually gonna paint all this black, kind of more to match about the same patina and whatnot as this tank, because it just looks, it's got the look. I'm digging it, especially with these old Harley emblems. Looks perfect. So that's gonna go on. Hit or miss on the seat. Right now I'm gonna mock it up and see how I like it. The fender I'm gonna use is the one that came off the Ironheads. The belt drive I also picked up from Sportster, so should be able to get that going in shortly once I get the motor in. Halfway mocked up on the motor mounts. Figure out how I need to align this. I am going to swap the transmission main shaft over to, so this is a 70 and up, so the longest of the 4-speed shafts. I'm going to swap it to a 65 to 69, which is like a ½ inch shorter than this. So it should pull the belt drive up closer. I probably won't be able to run this support, but that's fine. And I want to see how that's going to look. I think it'll pull the belt closer to the motor on this side as well, because you have to space this out some. So the closer we can get it to this portion, make it look a lot nicer for everything. But this is where I'm going to finish this up for right now. So this will be part 1. Part 2 should have the motor mounts, start doing mock-up, actually get the belt drive and everything on. Oil bag's going to be that white one over there. That's going to end up going on the frame eventually once I get all this stuff set up. And should be a good looking bike by the time all this is done. I know it's a good running motor. Already checked all that. So let's just do it.